Batteries fully charged. Launch ready for WWE Aftershock in 3, 2, 1. World Wrestling Entertainment Discussion is live. You host Owen Finch.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to WWE Aftershock Week 33. I'm Owen the Birdman Finch, and this is probably going to be the saddest and also weirdest week of the show because we had some sad news this week, which I'll get into as I go through this show. But as you can tell, I'm not really in a normal setting. I'm in the dark, and I'm doing this the night before I leave for Hershey. And I'm trying to do this as quick as I can so that way at least I can get an episode out there. Just things didn't really work out the way I wanted them to today, so that's why I'm doing this now. So I'm just going to break down all of the shows and get to this as fast as possible. Let me make sure I can just minimize it so I can do it that way. So I'm doing this on Cyberlink, and sometimes it doesn't like to work the best. So yeah, let's just get right into WWE content for this week. I'm going to try to just speed run everything. I'll try to spend time talking about stuff that I want to make sure gets talked about, obviously. But I'm going to just try to go through this as quick as possible. So I'm going to start with main event, just to go by house show rules, which obviously was taped the same day as Raw, but it aired on August 23rd, 2023. The commentary team was Byron Saxton and Wade Barrett. We had two matches on the show. The first one was Ricochet versus Riddick Moss. I really don't understand what's happening here, just due to the fact that Ricochet just had a match with Logan Paul at SummerSlam like 2 weeks ago, maybe a few weeks ago. It might have been 3 weeks ago by this point, and he's already back on main event not long afterwards. That's just not the best follow-up for someone that just had a match with Logan Paul. Like, the whole point was to elevate Ricochet. Now he's back wrestling on main event. So, I don't get it. He did win, at least, with the sliced bread, but I thought these two had a good match, I guess. And then we had Natalya versus Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross played the heel this week, which was, I guess, okay. Wade Barrett was acting like he was afraid of Nikki Cross. I don't remember if I said it or not, but Wade Barrett and Byron Saxton with the commentary team. Natalya won with the sharpshooter. She made Nikki Cross tap out. This made sense. I don't know if I would have had Nikki Cross tap out per se, but it made sense for Natty to win since they were in Canada, and it's like Natty's. I think they were in Quebec too, so it's not exactly her hometown, but it's like her home area. So main event was pretty good. I'll give that like a C+. I thought it wasn't quite a B-, but I thought we had two good matches on it, so that's at least something. I'm bumping it down a letter grade due to the fact that Ricochet is just stuck on main event now. Then we had Raw, which took place on August 21st, 2023. We had the commentary team of Wade Barrett and Michael Cole. The show started off with Sami Zayn cutting a promo, and he gets very over here because, again, this is around the same area of Canada. I think it was Quebec, Canada, and he's obviously going to be really over here. So he talks about how he wants to fight the Judgment Day because he's sick of him taking him and everybody else out around him. So Judgment Day come out and they go to spoil the party. And Sami Zayn says that he didn't come alone pretty much. And this is when Kevin Owens makes his return. He attacks Judgment Day along with Sami Zayn. And pretty much this leads to a tag match getting made later where it's going to be two members of Judgment Day versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And this sets up a big storyline throughout the show where, Finn Balor and Damian Priest can't decide which two members of Judgment Day they want to fight. Finn Balor is also talking to JD McDonough throughout all of this, and they the rest of the members of Judgment Day don't want anything to do with JD McDonough, but Finn Balor does, and at least at one point, Rhea Ripley trying to get Finn Balor and Damian Priest to figure it out for themselves while she goes off to have a match. And then when she comes back, I'll break down her match later. They can't figure it out. Damian Priest says that, they just started yelling at each other. And eventually Rhea Ripley says that she is. So when it's time for that match, she brings out Finn Balor and Damian Priest and forces them to team up. And during all of this, as it was going on, Cody Rhodes got interviewed, and it started off as a backstage one, but then he went to the ring, and so that way the crowd could cheer for him and everything, and basically said that he would be watching this match, and he'd be out there if anything happened, pretty much. And then during the tag match, JD McDonough interfered. He threw the briefcase to Finn Balor, and he was about to use it, but then Kevin Owens got a hold of it, and he used it on Finn Balor, and this led to a DQ, and obviously the heels were upset about this, but then eventually Cody Rhodes ran out as Judgment Day was beating down KO and Sammy, and Cody Rhodes challenged them to a 6-man tag, which Adam Pearce came out to make official, and led to that 6-man tag, and the babyfaces got the win when Sami Zayn hit the haluva kick, followed by a stunner by Owens on Dominic Mysterio. So I liked all the stuff they did with Judgment Day. I like the tension that they're teasing, and I like what they're setting up with JD McDonough, so I'll give all that a thumbs up. And then let's just break down Rhea Ripley's match since we're still on Judgment Day business. She faced Candice LeRae. She squashed Candice LeRae, which I don't love. I wish they could use Candice LeRae a little bit better, but it is what it is. And then Raquel Rodriguez returned. She was on crutches, and we were meant to think that she was injured, but we found out it was a ruse. And she attacked Rhea Ripley, beat her up, sent her packing, and we find out at Payback it's going to be those two for the Women's World title. So overall, I liked this stuff here. I liked it how it set up the Women's World Championship match, so that was good. They did a cool promo for Shayna Baszler. I thought that was awesome. The stuff they did with the IC title was pretty cool. Walter cut this ravish promo talking about how he was going to destroy Chad Gable, and Chad Gable did an interview where he was all hyped up about fighting for the IC title, and Otis and Maxine Dupree showed support for him, so it led to that match, and it was a great match. Just go watch it for yourself. Eventually, they started fighting on the outside, and Chad Gable German suplexed Walter over the barricade into the timekeeper's area, and it led to Gable winning by countout, but he doesn't get the title. And everyone was pissed about this. A lot of people were pissed because they did the Lex Luger finish where he celebrated even though he didn't win the title. I don't think it was too bad here because this was the first time that Walter's really lost, and anyone's really made him look vulnerable. So I thought that was still a pretty big deal. So I thought they booked this pretty well. So I liked that. It's probably going to lead to the match at Payback. I'm just making sure I covered that. Nakamura, we found out what he said to Seth Rollins, and this is where he reveals that Seth Rollins had this back injury, that he had been fighting for months, and he's basically, Nakamura says that he's going to target the back of Seth Rollins and completely take him out. And Seth Rollins in an interview later where he's upset that Nakamura brought up not only the back injury, but he brought his family into it, and he challenges him to meet him face-to-face in the ring next week. So I liked all that stuff. I thought Nakamura cut the best promo of his career, too, because they had him do a pre-tape where he cut the promo in Japanese, and they played subtitles for it, so I thought that was awesome. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what happens there. That match is made official for Payback, too. Seth will defend the belt against Nakamura for the world title, so that'll be good stuff. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. Tommaso Ciampa was backstage, and he basically talked about how everyone's been making a name off his at his expense pretty much, and he said that he's not going to play nice anymore, And this led to on Raw Talk, Bronson Reed challenging him to a match next week. So that would be good. And then Becky Lynch did a promo where she put over her feud with Trish Stratus. And then Trish Stratus and Zoe Stark come out. They talk trash to her. It's pretty bad. And then out of all this, we find out that it's going to be Becky Lynch versus Zoe Stark next week in a Falls Count Anywhere match. So this segment was pretty bad. I didn't really care for it. I thought Becky tried, but, this Trish-Becky feud needs to end soon. I have a feeling they're going to main event Payback just because they left this feud off of SummerSlam, so it is what it is. Okay. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven beat Katana Chance and Kay Dakota in a bad match. During this, they were backstage and before the match, and Chelsea Green was bragging about how Piper Niven's a partner, and they're basically going to do the gimmick where Piper Niven's really strong, and Chelsea Green is, I guess, going to be all full of herself and everything. We found out The Miz was going to have a match. He was going to face a mystery opponent, and it ended up being Akira Tozawa. He basically did this because he wanted to beat somebody easily, and LA Knight did commentary for it, and because of the distraction, Akira Tozawa beat The Miz, and yeah, LA Knight laid him out with the blood force trauma. I didn't mind this too much. But good for Tozawa. I liked it. Matt Riddle and Drew McIntyre faced the New Day. They had a pretty good match. The Viking Raiders interfered, and they cost Matt Riddle and Drew McIntyre the match, which led to New Day winning, and then they attacked the New Day, and then McIntyre fought them off. I don't really know why the Viking Raiders were involved. I guess they're trying to enter them into the mix, but I guess it is what it is. And then to a segment later backstage where we find out that the New Day pretty much put over McIntyre and Riddle, and they call him Mick Riddle, and we find out that the New Day are going to face the Viking Raiders on Raw next week. So, yeah, that'll be good stuff. And that's Raw. I'm sorry this is being rushed, but again, I don't have a lot of time to do this. I thought Raw was a great show. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to give it like a B+. I liked about everything on it. The only thing I didn't really care for was the women's matches, honestly, just because I thought they were way too short and just really didn't further anything. Except the Rhea Ripley, Raquel Rodriguez segment, I guess. But everything else I thought was fine. I'll just do my predictions for Raw for next week since I'm on the subject. So we know that Rollins and Nakamura are going to have a face-off. I imagine Nakamura would just target his back and lay him out again before the pay-per-view. And then we know that Ciampa's going to face Bronson Reed. I imagine Bronson Reed actually will win that. I think this is going to set up a storyline where Tommaso Ciampa's trying to find himself because they're doing a storyline on his socials and stuff where he's trying to find Johnny Gargano. And I think that will lead to Johnny Gargano coming back. And they'll reform Team DIY. Not the way I would have done it, but at least it's happening, so I'm happy about that. And then we know we're going to get Zoe Stark versus Becky Lynch in a Falls Count Anywhere match. I could see Trish interfering and costing Becky the match, so that way when Becky beats her at the cage match, it'll be that much more satisfying. But I hope they just have Becky beat Zoe Stark, but I'm going to go with Zoe Stark. Actually, I'm going to go with Becky winning because that's what I want, but I think it's going to be probably the formal that happens. We have the New Day versus the Viking Raiders. I imagine the New Day will win that, and they'll face Drew and Matt Riddle in a rematch. And I think in the rematch, the New Day will win again, and Drew will finally turn on Riddle. So I think that's everything that's going to happen on Raw next week. I can't really think of anything else that would. So there's that. Also, yeah, that's basically it. Let's go through NXT. It was Heatwave. I liked this show. They did a nice intro where, I'm going to do the house show rules. I'll cover Level Up first since that was taped the same day. That was basically like the dark matches before Heatwave. Hank Walker and Tank Ledger defeated Tyrick Igwe, I think is how you say that, and Tyson DuPont. That match was okay. I thought Hank and Tanky worked well together as a team. Kiana James beat Kaote Saint. Kaote Saint did a promo before the match. It was very scripted. It's probably going to take some time for her to learn the promo game, but we did find out that she's a registered nurse and a track and field athlete, so that's pretty cool. And she looked good in this match, but Kiana James just won, so whatever. And then Scripps beat Dante Chen. I thought Level Up was pretty average. I'll give that like a C minus. Really nothing worth seeing there. And then as for Heat Wave, it showed an intro where basically the family did like a big segment where they hyped up the show and invited their family over and stuff. I thought it was pretty good. And Ilya Dragunov faced Trick Williams. The big story here was Ilya Dragunov dominated large portions of the match, but eventually Trick Williams was able to put on somewhat of a fight back, which was good stuff. And then eventually Dragunov beat him with a right hand off of the second turnbuckle. I thought this match was great. I gave it 4 stars. I was really into it. We really didn't know who was going to win, and I thought they made Trick Williams look really strong in defeat. And then it led to later in the night, by the way, too. It led to Dragunov having a face-off with Wesley, basically saying that he's going to go for the title now that he's done with Trick Williams, and Wesley says he's going to have to get through him. And then it led to Trick Williams confronted Carmelo Hayes, and it wasn't a front, they were just talking, but they teased like he's going to go for the title, so I'm not sure if that's the 2 matches they're going to do, but we'll get to that later on. Then Tyler Bate was backstage. Nathan Fraser came up to him and asked him to be in his corner for the Heritage Cup match, and he agreed, and I'll just break down that match now. That match was very good. It was very back and forth. They had Dabba-Kato come out and lay out Tyler Bate, not Tyler Breeze. He had to be taken to the back to receive medical attention. So basically Nathan Fraser had to fight the rest of the match by himself because that led to him losing a fall too. He ended up getting a fall, and then he ended up just losing due to the numbers game, and Noam Dar became the new Heritage Cup champion. And we find out that the Heritage Cup committee organized a global Heritage Cup tournament where whoever wins that, will face him for the Heritage Cup at No Mercy. So that's kind of like a first advertisement of No Mercy for NXT. They did go over the rules on the bump. Apparently the rules of this is it's basically going to be like a round robin tournament, I think, and whoever wins Block A will face the participants of Block B, and instead of 6-minute rounds, they're going to be, I think every match is like 12 minutes or something, and it's basically Heritage Cup rules. I don't exactly remember the rules, and I can't look it up right now because my phone's over there and all that type of stuff, but I'll just say what the rules are on the next episode just because I'm most likely going to be doing the next episode, but I thought the Heritage Cup match was actually very good. I think this is one of the best ones they've done. I think just because Noam Dar and Nathan Fraser have done this enough where they can make it work for themselves, so I give it 3 3/4 stars. Ivy Nile faced Ava. I wrote 3.5. Oh no, I didn't write 3.5. It was okay. I give it like 2.5. Eventually, Ivy Nile made her tap out to the Dragon Sleeper, and then during this, Ivy Nile tried to kidnap her or something, and two members of the Schism pulled her to the back, and it led to this segment where Ava challenged her to come face her face to face while she had these 2 people as her protector. And when Ivy Nile went over there, she told the 2 people to attack her, but they didn't. And we find out that it was the Creed brothers, and they kidnapped Ava and challenge Grizzly Non-Veterans to a tag match next week. And they wanted a steel cage match, and if they win, they'll reinstated to NXT. And Schism accept. So I imagine I'll just do this prediction now that when that match happens, the Creed brothers will win. They'll be reinstated, and this is when finally Grizzled Young Veterans will get thrown out of Schism, or they'll get attacked by Gacy or something, or they'll attack Gacy, and either they'll just leave the company, because I think this is around the time the contract's up, or um, they'll go on the main roster or something, or come back as the Grizzled Young Veterans. So, be interesting to see what happens there. Then Tiffany Stratton did a promo. It was really bad, where she was just asking for a challenger and all this stuff, and various people interrupted it. Who interrupted first? It was Gigi Dolan. She wanted a title match. Kiana James. She wanted a title match. Blair Davenport. She wanted a title match. Gigi Dolan and Kiana James made fun of Blair Davenport for getting her ass kicked in a supermarket. Roxanne Perez interrupted. She wanted a title match. She attacked Tiffany Stratton. Everybody got into a brawl. I think it led to somehow Roxanne Perez standing tall. I don't remember exactly what happened. And later in the night, we find out we're going to have a 4-way match next week. Where the winner's going to face Tiffany Stratton, I think at No Mercy, but I'm not exactly sure. But I imagine it will be at No Mercy. And during this, Tiffany Stratton mentions that she was the best champion of all of NXT, and she mentioned Becky Lynch, and at first we thought it was a bot, but then later in the night, they came back to it, and she mentioned that even though Becky Lynch wasn't a champion, she would have been anyways, and Becky sent a tweet saying, NXT champion, that's one like accolade I don't have or something, so I think they're going to set up Becky Lynch coming to NXT and winning the NXT title, which I think is very necessary. The women's division, I don't think is particularly good in NXT, and I think Becky Lynch would add a lot of spice to it. It's something different for Becky Lynch to do, and I imagine what will happen is either because I don't think Becky's going to win the Royal Rumble to get a title shot. I imagine whoever faces the women's champion, whether that's Io Sky or Asuka or Charlotte, will come in and win the women's Royal Rumble, face Io Sky at WrestleMania, whoever the women's champion is, and then I can see maybe like Rhea Ripley screwing over Becky Lynch out of the NXT Women's title if they do that match, or out of the match in general, and it leads to Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch, because I think long term that's the maybe like the semi-main event of one of the WrestleMania matches. Maybe Becky Lynch is finally the one to dethrone her, I don't know. But I liked it, though. I didn't like how they set up the 4-way. It's very typical WWE, but I liked this overall. Then it showed like the stuff with Becky Lynch is what I mean too. Then it shows the Drew Gulak training video where they just beat up I forget his name, but it's one of the it's like his student, but he's like a wrestler on the roster, but I don't remember who he is. Yeah, I can't think of his name at the moment, but Gulak and Dempsey just beat him up. He was like tapping out too, and Gulak says we don't tap here, so and then Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley were backstage earlier, and they tease Mustafa Ali potentially challenging for the North American title. But we got the mixed tag. It was a really good mixed tag. I gave it 3.5 stars. It's probably one of the best ones I've seen. Eventually, Raquel Rodriguez interfered and screwed over Rhea and Dom. She brought with Rhea to the back and alleged Dragon Lee hitting a sliced bread on Dom for the win. So I think we're going to get Dragon Lee versus Dominic Mysterio again. I kind of hope they do like a ladder match or some stipulation match at No Mercy. And then whoever wins that will face Mustafa Ali or something. So that would be good. Thea Hale's backstage. It looks like they're going to make her and JC Jane a team. I'm not a fan of that, but whatever. Von Wagner was supposed to face Baron Corbin, but it never starts. They brawl around ringside, and Von's about to put Corbin through a table, but Braun Breaker spears him and attacks him, and that was basically the segment. I don't know what this is leading to. Maybe a triple threat match, no DQ between all these guys, where Von Wagner will beat him. I'm not really sure, but overall I enjoyed this for what it was. And then the NXT title match was awesome. It was Wesley versus Carmelo Hayes. Wesley Neal won with a cardiac kick, and then he went to do a dive on the outside, and Carmelo Hayes moved, and he didn't want Wesley to get back into the win, but when he did, he had no choice. He had to put an end to him, and Carmelo Hayes beat him with nothing but nets, and retained the NXT Championship, and yeah, that was pretty much the segment. I thought it was good stuff. This match was great. I gave it 4 3/4 stars. And yeah, just awesome stuff. Also, I forgot to mention, Dijak cut a promo and he basically challenged Eddie Thorpe to a match next week. That match was made official. I imagine Eddie Thorpe will win and they'll have a rematch at No Mercy or something. So there you go. NXT was awesome. I'm gonna give it an A-. I enjoyed about everything on it. Really nothing, not a bad thing on it. Even the bad things weren't really bad. I thought the good outweighed the bad. And then we have the bump. The bump took place on March 23rd, 2023, and they broke down the week of wrestling. It was hosted, by the way, by Matt Camp and Megan Morant. And I'll just say the word interviews. You can just watch them for yourself. Edge did an interview where we kind of talked about his career up until he faced Sheamus, and it was filmed before the match on SmackDown, so he didn't talk about any of that, but he mentioned being in WWE and everything that he's done since he's been there. He played like a game about like who his toughest opponent was and what his most memorable match was and everything, so it was good stuff. And then Chad Gable got interviewed. He talked about starting Alpha Academy, challenging Walter for the IC title, and yeah, just kind of talk about what it's been like to achieve his dream in WWE. And then Jackie Redmond interviewed Becky Lynch. This was pre-taped, and Becky Lynch talked about a few, which was Stratus and what she wants to do in the women's division and everything like that. So that was good stuff. So the bump was awesome, actually. I'm going to give that like an A-. I thought the interviews with Edge and Becky and Chad were all really good and just really made me pay attention. So that was the bump. I'm sorry this episode's so short, but again, I have to get this done quickly. Because I don't want this to upload too long, because then I got to stay up for it. Wait. SmackDown's the last show I'll break down. Again, SmackDown was a really sad show because it was right after we had heard about the deaths of Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt. Really a sad week for WWE. And then we just lost, at the time of recording this, even though he wasn't a WWE roster, but he was basically a member of the WWE family. Bob Barker passed away. I think it was today, because that's when I heard the news. And yeah, just probably one of the saddest weeks I think that we've ever had for WWE. At least I think so anyways. I know there's been other deaths that are probably worse, but this is like the most sadness I think I felt for a while. I don't want to spend too much time talking about Bray Wyatt just because we did a retro that pays tribute to him where we talked about him, but I'll just say just go watch it. But just probably one of the most creative minds in the business and just always trying to evolve his character, and I definitely think he was definitely too selfless to a point type of thing. But great guy backstage, great dad, all this stuff. Terry Funk was somebody that, even though I didn't watch him and stuff, was someone that basically made the industry better for being in it. He's basically transitioned the business. He's done everything you could think of, faced every opponent, yeah, just pretty much somebody who has evolved their character and has basically done all everywhere is what I'll say about Terry Funk. And as for Bob Barker, even though I didn't watch a lot of his stuff, someone who's just genuinely lived life to the fullest, just good person to be around, probably the best Raw guest host, and just makes everybody just smile when you saw him and all that type of stuff. So really sad passings for WWE. So SmackDown, up except for Bob Barker, was the tribute shows for Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt because Bob Barker hadn't passed yet. Um, so they did things in tribute. They had Cody come out to do a promo, and he just talked about basically what Terry Funk was like in the industry. You can just go really watch it for yourself. It was truly tremendous. And he dubbed the tag match between the Street Profits and the Brawling Brutes a Terry Funk Hardcore Rules match. And it's a really good match. I wish they really used the stip a little bit more, but Bobby Lashley speared Pete Dunne on the outside, and it led to a powerbomb blockbuster combination by the Street Profits on Rich Holland through a table for the win. So they're building up, Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. I know typically they have the baby faces go over when they do tribute shows and stuff, but I was kind of thinking about it. I think if Terry Funk and Pete and Bray Wyatt was still alive, I think they would want storylines and them to really kind of continue to elevate talent over just having baby faces win all the time type of thing. And I think this did make the fans happy for the most part. They did do a 10-bed salute for both Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt. It would last about the first 8 minutes of the show was dedicated to them. They did the 10-belt salute. The most notable names that were there were, obviously the whole roster was there, but Braun Strowman and Eric Rowan. They brought back Eric Rowan for this, and obviously they were huge for the Wyatt family and huge to Bray Wyatt's career and just everything like that. So I'm happy they were there. And they played a nice video package for Bray Wyatt, kind of paying tribute to him. It's on WWE's YouTube channel. You can just really go watch it. I've probably watched it like several times. It just still doesn't feel real. And, then, I'm trying to think of like what else. And then the lights went out pretty much, and then they put a spotlight, and Bray Wyatt's rocking chair was sitting on the stage, kind of paying tribute to him. There was other ways they paid tribute, like Rey Mysterio did the clothesline followed by the senton, which is a big move that Bray Wyatt did. They had people wear armbands dedicated to Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt with their initials. LA Knight faced The Miz, and this was very significant because LA Knight was the last opponent of Bray Wyatt, and Finn Balor was a big feud for Bray Wyatt during the Eater of Worlds and the Fiend days. It was the Fiend's first match on the main roster. And then, really great stuff. LA Knight did a great promo paying tribute to Bray Wyatt that you can go watch, which also set up the match with The Miz, which I think is exactly what Bray Wyatt would have wanted. He would have loved this promo. And he hit Blood Force Trauma on Finn Balor for the win. It was a really good match. And then, this was after The Miz, by the way, too, went on TMZ and said that LA Knight was a flash in the pan and everything. So, there's that. And then, at the end of the show, they did, like, the Fiend's, entrance as if he was going to teleport to the ring. Instead, it was the lantern of Bray Wyatt, and they did, like, a scene where, like, they had like an image of him on the screen where it looked like he was standing in the ring one last time. So it was really awesome. And the other two main things that happened on SmackDown was Io Sky retaining the women's title against Zelina Vega. That match was awesome. Go check it out. And Rey Mysterio beating Grayson Waller. That match was really good. Go check that out. I can't think of anything else that really happened on SmackDown. I think that's basically everything. It was basically a tribute to Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk. Like, they had maybe 3 matches, but obviously they scrapped most of what was going to happen on SmackDown due to the fact that Jimmy Uso was supposed to return and cut a promo since Jay quit, but they obviously pulled that because Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk were more important, and it was a tribute shows and stuff, and Bloodline stuff can wait. And I heard reports that Roman Reigns handed the original Universal title that he won to the Wyatt family, like Bray Wyatt's family and everything. which makes sense. It's his title, pretty much. He showed that title. WWE is donating all the proceeds from his merch to his family. So, SmackDown was wonderful. I'm going to give it an S rank. Just a great tribute show. I really think they made up for the fact that they didn't do one for Brody Lee and stuff like that. So I'm happy about that. And that's the week of WWE. I don't want to spend much more talking about it. We kind of ended it on a sad note. But, just please support the families of Terry Funk, Bray Wyatt, and Bob Balco. Just try to watch as much stuff of them as you can. And that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry this episode was short, but I had to get it out there. I promise next ones will be longer. It's just I'm on a time crunch here, and I didn't want to not get one out there for you. So thank you guys for watching. And since this is being recorded in the packs, I will talk to you in the future.
Podcast has concluded. Be sure to check out more group discussion as far as WWE content is concerned, and check out more content from For the Win Productions.